Jest nią pani Naprotechnologia. Przyjechała do nas z Ameryki. Jest znana na całym świecie jako współtwórczyni modelu Claytona, podstawowego narzędzia diagnostycznego używanego w naprotechnologii. Jesteśmy bardzo szczęśliwi, że mamy zaszczyt ją gościć dzisiaj u siebie i że podzieli się z nami swoim doświadczeniem. We are very happy you are today with us in Poland, in our Naprotechnology Center in Łodzi. We know you are one of the first co-workers of Professor Hilger's. You created the Clayton model system, and today I'd like to talk a little about the beginning of the Clayton model system. Could you tell us something about it?
Be glad to. We started the work, it was in February of 1976, and Dr. Hilgers and his wife Sue were in St. Louis, Missouri. And Dr. Hilgers came, he was brought to St. Louis by a doctor who had money to set up, to do a large research project and to set up a teaching center. So we started working together, and he there was a group actually of 6 of us, Dr. Hilgers, his wife, another couple, and Diane Daly and myself. And we started meeting talking about the method. We called it first the ovulation method, and the purpose was to study, the research was to study when ovulation occurred around the peak day. So that was the money that really helped get things started. But we also wanted to learn more about the ovulation method and to come up with a very scientific way of measuring fertility. What Dr. Hilgers wanted to do was to be able to do much research on the method. In order to do that, there had to be a standardized way of recording observations. In addition, it was also important, in order to spread the method, to be able to have teachers, and many teachers. And so the purpose was those 2 things, to be able to develop the method that had really begun development by the Billings, Dr. Jana and Billings, to develop the method, to find a very standardized way of looking at observations, and then also to be able to find ways to educate many more teachers. So that's how we started. We met every week and talked about what the teaching we were doing, comparing notes, and that's how it started. And really, it started as a result of Dr. Hilgers' response to Bonifratrzy and wanting to have a very solid method.
In Poland, people talk about the Clayton model system on the context of naprotechnology. And my question is, if the Clayton model system and naprotechnology are the same, or rather we should treat them separately?
Oh, great question, Olivia. They're really separate. The Clayton model is necessary before anybody can have any naprotechnology. The people that teach the Clayton model are the practitioners. The people that work with naprotechnology are physicians. So when somebody's talking about what they do and they say they are doing naprotechnology, they have to be a doctor. They cannot be a practitioner. The other really important thing, you can't have naprotechnology unless there is the Clayton model. The Clayton model is the forerunner for any naprotechnology, because naprotechnology is based on the Clayton model. And it is very interesting, though, because people have confused that, and they will say that they are providing naprotechnology practitioners, but they're not. And so we're really trying to now promote worldwide that its Creighton model fertility care system is one thing and naprotechnology is another. But the beauty is they work together. The practitioners that provide Creighton model fertility care system really need many times naprotechnology. The naprotechnology service cannot be provided at all unless there is naprotechnology and a practitioner. So, for example, there has to be a practitioner and a medical consultant. A doctor that's providing naprotechnology without a practitioner is at a loss because they need both, but they're very separate. One is about practitioners, one naprotechnology is about doctors and medical care.
In Polish society, the Creighton model system is used only by infertile couples. They want to choose the best time to achieve pregnancy. And what about other nations?
I would tell you that in the United States, there are more people using it for fertility care, Creighton model fertility care, than just to use it to achieve a pregnancy. We probably have 75% couples coming to us to use it as a family planning method. Or perhaps there might be women that are doing charting because they've noticed some issues in their cycles. But we're finding an increasing number of couples coming because they have infertility and want to achieve. I think in Europe, my experience in Europe has been that it's really many more people are using it as a method when they are wanting to achieve. And probably when it got started here and went throughout Europe, it was promoted a lot as naprotechnology, and people came to know it as a method to achieve a pregnancy when you have infertility.
And what can you tell us about the effectiveness of the method?
Well, it's a very effective method, both in avoiding as well as in achieving. Avoiding, it has a method effectiveness that is 99.6 and use effectiveness of 94.8. So it's very effective in terms of avoiding. It is not 100% effective, and we never talk about it being 100%. But it's also effective in terms of achieving a pregnancy. It can be anywhere from, if somebody just uses the method and no naprotechnology, it can be anywhere from 20 to 40%. But with the addition of the Creighton model and the use of naprotechnology, it can increase the method effectiveness up to 80%. So it's pretty great. And the thing that is not ever measured on effectiveness, it is, but it's not, is the value that it has for the couple. And it's a great effectiveness for the couples that we work with in terms of investing in their marriage.
Many people complain that the method is for patient people only, because we have many couples who are discouraged because they have to wait so long for results. I think about people who want to achieve pregnancy. How long they should observe this?
Many times it does take a while to achieve a pregnancy, because one of the problems, the frequent problem is if somebody's not achieving a pregnancy, there's a reason. And so with this whole system, what it is, there are phases. First, have to find out what's wrong. And that can be, as an average, maybe 6 months. Then, the problem, once it's identified, it has to be fixed. That can be another 6 months. And only then when people start trying to achieve a pregnancy, and that when the cycle is fixed and they're working to achieve a pregnancy. But it does take time. But one of the hard things for women, really, and for couples, is not knowing what's wrong. So really what they're doing is investing their time and energy to learn out, to learn about their bodies so that they can understand why they haven't achieved. One of the hardest things that I hear and the saddest things is when you ask somebody, why haven't you achieved a pregnancy? And they say they don't know. And that's very difficult. So if people can find out what's wrong and then fix it and create a healthy cycle, then when they start achieving, they can expect not only to achieve, but also to have a very healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby and a healthy marriage because they've worked this together. So yes, it does take time, but it's time truly that's very well spent at the end.
And you had a large experience. Could you share it with us, telling us about your most exciting, moving experience in work with couples?
I will. It was a couple that I worked with, taught for 5 years, and they had struggled with infertility during this time. We would meet, and we would meet every time before she went to visit her physician. And we would go over the chart, make sure everything was correct on the chart. There was the mucocycle scores were done, the post-peak phases were entered, and we prepare a list of questions that she and he would take to the doctor, so they were prepared for that appointment. And as it goes, they came in and they did achieve a pregnancy in their 65th cycle. And the beauty is they had the positive pregnancy test on Father's Day. They have a beautiful little girl named Elise, and she's wonderful and perfect, and they are thrilled. But they stayed with it, and they didn't give up. And truly, what they told me is thank you for not giving up on us. So that's 5 years of follow-ups and 65 cycles.
Wow.
They did that.
In closing our interview, I have one question. What would you like to say to people to encourage them to use the Creighton model system?
I would encourage people to use it it's a great adventure. It's a great adventure not only for the woman to learn about her reproductive cycles. It's also an adventure for a man to learn all those details about his wife, and then thus they can learn their combined fertility. I think one of the best things that happens, though, is what happens to the couple and how their communication has changed, how they've expanded all the views of sexuality so they truly experience sexuality physically, mentally, spiritually, physically, intellectually, creative, emotionally, and it grows their marriage. So when it's all said and done, there's a couple that started that didn't know about their reproductive system. They learn about that. They can plan their families and grow in their own marriage, and then have a great body of knowledge to pass along to their children. And so that it goes on, all good things.
Thank you for the interview.
You are very welcome, and it's my honor and privilege. Thank you.